Tiliakos here, and welcome to a very special edition of the Source Podcast by DailyPay. We're live at the Super Bowl of Payroll, the Payroll Org's 41st annual Payroll Congress, the largest payroll event in the world, where I had the opportunity to sit down with leaders from across the industry to discuss the latest trends and challenges shaping the modern payroll experience. All right, so welcome, Dawn. So good to see you here. Introduce yourself a little bit. Dawn Taylor, I know, but tell me a little bit about what you do and where you do it.
Sure. My name is Dawn Taylor.
Yeah.
I live in Breckenridge, Colorado. I've been doing payroll for 2 stints now. So I worked for this company back in 98 to 2006.
Yeah.
I left for 9 years and came back, and now I'm the payroll manager, and it's just been an amazingly crazy journey.
Yeah, so you're a boomerang payroll practitioner.
I am.
So many of us, I would say, don't aspire to grow up to be in payroll, but we land there, and thankfully you practitioners, I'm not a practitioner any longer, but thankfully so many have stayed for a very long time, and we appreciate you, so awesome.
Yeah.
So what made you go from payroll, leave payroll, and come back? What did you do in between?
I did a lot of different things. I worked for a nonprofit that dealt with domestic violence and sex assault victims,
Oh,
and I
wow.
was super passionate about that
Yeah.
and wanted to help people in our community. And then I also worked at a dental office. I'm kind of the master of nothing, but love to try anything and everything.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a big joke in high school. What
Yeah.
does Dawn want to do this week? So I will try anything pretty much.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, you have
But yeah, so it's something since I was a child have been interested in as far as numbers go. I always had the cash register
Yeah.
as a kid. So never thought I'd be in numbers because I'm really not that great at math.
I'm the same.
Don't tell anybody that.
Yeah.
I have a
Go
10
figure,
key.
right? The payroll guy's not good at math, right?
Yeah. Don't ask me to do the tip at dinner because I'll mess it up somehow.
How funny.
But I just love, for whatever reason, payroll is something, now that I'm a payroll manager, I'm a little bit sad because I really enjoy processing payroll, and now I have someone else doing that for me.
Okay.
So I'm like, I want to do it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, again, that you are in payroll. We appreciate what you do. It's awesome. So how many years have you been in payroll?
So I've been in payroll for about 12 or 13 years total.
Okay, so you've seen it's changed.
It's changed a lot.
How's it changed for you?
We did a lot more manual payroll the first stint that I was doing payroll.
Yeah.
I started in marketing and then a job became available. Actually, one of the gals who was sort of my mentor is here, who I met years later again, who worked for our company and then went to Denver. So I just was interested in it, so I decided to take that leap. And then we were a lot more manual then, and then now in timesheets, running reports on paper. Now everything is so digital. We are, I would say, 95% paperless in
Nice.
our HR/payroll department for our company. Everything is so much more automated that you get to rely on these companies to help you. However, I like to do my due diligence to make sure I still know how to process a check from start to finish.
Yes. There is so much of a hands-on nature to payroll that I think you're right. There's a lot of people who do the processing and then they graduate maybe to become, or promoted, right? They get promoted into management or whatever, and it's like they lose that like day-to-day hands-on, and I think that we as practitioners crave that, right? Like, because you got to be in the weeds with payroll. You just have to. There's no other way.
You have to know what you're doing.
There's no other way.
So you have to have that sense of, okay, what do I need to do next? Even with an SOP, you still need to know what you're doing. So I agree.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me how your employees just think it happens. They have
I know, right? It's
absolutely
magic.
no idea.
It's magic. You're a magician.
Yeah. So they'll call on Thursday and say, hey, can I change my direct deposit? I'm like, I sent payroll on Tuesday. So it's pretty fun.
So what's it like in your world in terms of payroll? Like what keeps you up at night as a payroll manager?
Oh my gosh. I wake up a lot coming up with ideas
I know,
on
right?
how to, I could process that easier. That earnings code might work better if we did it this way. So we have implemented a system, and we have workarounds because I don't think any system is perfect.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of spreadsheets and audits to keep everything in order, which I think is our due diligence to make sure everything's paid correctly. So my main thing is, even if we're 5 cents out of balance, I have to find that. I can't not pay someone
Payroll's
5
gotta be
cents. It does.
Yeah,
I'm not one person who won't do it perfectly. I wake up a lot with timekeeping. For whatever reason, timekeeping issues will come to me when I'm sleeping, or we could try this or do this better.
Well, very often the build to gross is the hardest part of payroll versus the gross to net. The gross to net's almost easy. It's like just getting to the gross, right? To be able to do that. So
Yep. And then we're in a bunch of different states now that we weren't prior to COVID. So we have a lot of challenges with I guess actually one of the things that keeps me up is how do I do all the taxes for these states that we're in, because I'm not a tax expert.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm becoming one.
Yes.
I've had to become one, which is cool. I like the challenge, but I don't feel super comfortable making those decisions on, this is perfect.
Yes.
So those are the things that I wake up.
Yeah. Front of mind.
Yeah.
Top of mind
but
for you.
But it's nice that we're able to allow our employees to work in different states.
Yes.
And, be able to be their best person that they can be.
Creates more work for you, though.
It does
create
remote
a ton creates more work.
Yes.
Now, is it work from home or is it work from anywhere? Do you allow work from anywhere?
We don't allow work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Our company's pretty cool in that I get to research the state first.
Awesome.
If the benefits are greater than what they are in Colorado, because that's where we're based out of, then we won't allow that state.
Okay,
For instance,
I see.
California, their overtime rules are different, their time off benefits are different, and they're greater than what we offer the majority of our employees. So we are pretty good at researching. I've learned a lot about researching. I've made a lot of mistakes. And then they work from home, and it's only certain jobs that we can really allow that for. Since we are in hospitality, we have operations that are 24/7 on site, and then our support teams. And those support teams are the ones that will allow to work remote.
Wow, very good. Yeah, you have to offer those sorts of things as a flexibility enabler, as an employer, and I think it sounds like your organization is very open-minded about the employee experience, right? And making people, fit their goals, right? Their needs, what they want, because we're all different. We all have things that motivate us. We have different lenses. We have different motivations for being at work. It's all money at the end, but let's be honest, right? I mean, for some people, it's their kids. For others, it's a vacation they're all working towards or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's unique now, and I think that the world that we live in, hyper-personalization is expected, and the workplace is no different now, and that's important. It's great that you have an employer that's willing to embrace that.
It's very true, and prior to coming to this, I actually texted my boss earlier saying, this has been such a good reset for me, because I'm really, I want to say burnt out, but I'm feeling a little bit like we're hand-holding a lot, and we're trying to make it so easy for our employees, but it makes it so much harder for our department to process. And one of the main things I've taken from this conference is if we can make it happen for the employee, we should. We should definitely try. So it's kind of turned my thought process around a little bit to not looking at it as hand-holding, but everybody's situation is totally different.
Yes. And why? The why behind it.
Correct.
It doesn't matter why. At the end of the day, the why behind it is important to that employee.
Yes.
And I think as an employer, if you can respect that dynamic and offer them help to facilitate solutions, I think that's all you can do, right? I mean, it's, you can't do everything. It's like your kids. You can't do everything, but you do what you can to try to help them get to the right answers, get to the right solutions, and hopefully progress that way.
And be happy and be comfortable, right?
Yeah. So, along that lines, right? Like, I mean, obviously wellness is huge right now because you want people to have a good quality of life, and that translates to work and home. And you can bring things from home to work. And look, we're all going through something at some point, right? I mean, we all have struggles, we all have opportunities, and I think that, again, it's unique to each person, and being able to let them solve things is really, really important. So how do you guys look at wellness? What are your wellness approach at your organization?
We have a wellness fair every year that we allow all of our employees to come to this wellness fair. They're allowed to get blood work done for free.
Oh, I love it.
And then we have different booths of different companies that are local, so they can see different options that are out there for maybe not normal Western medicine type healthcare. And then we, in our department and across our company, we're really good at saying, if you need a day, if you need a personal time, personal time, take it. We want you to feel good. So we're really good at, I think we're doing a really good job of letting our employees know that they have a say in this.
Yeah.
Our company is also based on giving the employee the ability to, instead of asking, saying, I would like to do this. So intent-based leadership is what we call it.
Okay,
so it's based off of a book from a Navy captain. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Very good.
So I would say we're maybe not ahead of the game on wellness, but we sure are trying to make sure our employees feel good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's outstanding. You want to be able to bring your total self to work, and your total self brings problems, right? I
Right.
mean, we all have them, like we said. And so, yeah, it's great that your employer is forward about looking to solve those things, right, before they become a
Absolutely.
problem. So, yeah, I love it. So, where does earned wage access fit into your organization at this point? Have you guys gotten to that journey yet?
So we've looked at it. We actually have a couple pain points with some of our employees that are commission-based. So our company really takes the inclusion and diversity really seriously. So if it doesn't help every employee, we aren't necessarily going to implement something. So that's where I'm running into with same-day pay or those types of things. Is a part of our population currently, the way we bring in pay, we don't have a good workaround for using the same-day pay or on-demand pay and things of that nature at this point. However, I think the conversations I'm having at this conference are really opening the doors to maybe there's a little bit more work for our leaders to do to get these tips and commissions on timesheets on a daily basis, which in turn puts more on them, a little bit less on us in payroll. However, in turn, it gives our employees more of an opportunity to use on-demand pay where it wouldn't be possible if we didn't make some changes. So I'm really excited to take back, I've been pushing back on it, like, nope. But now I really feel like after seeing the amount of vendors here, that it's something we need to really consider. So my question to these teams here and to DailyPay is, how do you include these commission employees? So
Yes. Well, that's a great question. I'll leave that to them to answer, but it sounds like you're readying your organization to maybe have this opportunity to bring this wellness solution in. I think it's really becoming a standard, if you want to be honest, in payroll. It's a standard. And definitely in the hospitality world, definitely in that world where there's a high hourly population of folks. And look, it's not exclusive, like financial challenges are not exclusive to people who make hourly wages, right?
No.
It's across the board. And I think that, the idea that I can, as an employee, can, with dignity, solve my own problems without having to make that walk of shame to the payroll manager or my boss and be like, I need $100 to get to payday. That is so enriching, right? That's so empowering for the employee. And I think it's amazing. So that's the sort of thing I think more organizations need to look at it for and understand that. And the other thing, if you look at the way I was a former payroll practitioner, right? A lot of times organizations will go, the payroll organization will see it as, it's one other thing I got to do. It's one more thing. But the reality of it is, it's actually more of an enabler to the payroll manager to be able to solve problems.
Right.
And that is refreshing. So
it is. And that is my mindset change of, my initial thought is, how come people can't balance their checkbooks? Who even writes checks anymore? But how come people can't balance their accounts and know where they're at? That's not reality anymore. That's, my grandparents and my parents teaching me how to balance checkbook. That's not what we live in anymore. So for me, it's been I'm feeling old all of a sudden to the world of, this is what people want and this is what's going to help them. And we live in a place, and I know it's not, specific to where I live in Colorado, but it's really hard to live in Breckenridge where I live because it's very expensive. It's hard to find housing. You do find housing, and you have to come up with $4,000. Yeah, so it's really, I do think it's a very important ad that I have full transparency pushed back on, and after being here for the past couple days, that has truly changed.
Yeah, you're feeling better about it. Yeah, that's good.
I am.
Well, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I have, as an industry analyst and thought leader, I have worked with and researched many of these solutions since day one, years, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it's been, that these were starting to enter the market. And I'll tell you, I recoiled when I first heard them, right? I was thinking constructive receipt. I was thinking, well, what about, just financial irresponsibility and all the things that trigger, right? Because we've all grown up in a world where that didn't exist. And so this sounds counterintuitive. And as a payroll manager, our DNA is risk management. It's controls. It's money it's money protection. It's all of that, right? And so I think we naturally have a barrier we throw up and start to make excuses, right? I talked about this on another episode, that a lot of them are just psychological fears that the payroll practitioner or the leadership has. And the reality is, when you look at the data, once these things go into place, they're set it and forget it. There's almost nothing for payroll to do. And if anything, it's a negligible impact to payroll, but it's a massive impact and ROI to the other side of the business, which is the talent, right? Retention, referrals. You can go on and on. And I think that is very eye-opening for the organization when they go, oh, wait a minute, there's an ROI too? Like, and our employees are healthier and happier?
Yes.
Like, why not, right? It's a no-brainer.
Fully
No-brainer.
agree. We allow our employees to take pay advances, but you're right, that walk of shame or that feeling of now someone in payroll is going to know that I don't have enough money to pay for this bill, and you can see it. You can when they write what they need, you can feel, and I'm very empathetic in most ways, and I feel for them. I want to help them, but it's all, sometimes, because I've been in that situation
but there's
before.
Rules, right?
There's rules around it, and you just
policy.
have to, but I'm excited. I'm actually really excited to see where we might take this with our company and see if we can make our employees more happy. And we do a lot of employee surveys, and so that is one of the things on our employee surveys, which we also take to heart. We have changed so many policies and so many benefits and perks due to what our employees say. So I am excited to maybe be able to bring this to the table.
That's great. Are you hearing a pull from your employees for this? Are they asking?
We have some that ask.
I've seen it sometimes, a little bit,
But I don't see it. I haven't seen where it's like, okay, we really need to take a look at this right now. So it'd be great if we could be a little more proactive with it and say, hey, this is a new perk that we're rolling out.
Yes, that's great. So you mentioned the word change there, right? A lot of change in policy, but it sounds like you're listening to the employees, which is fantastic, right? The voice of the employee is so critical. And as we know, right, the customer experience begins at the employee experience, and if the employee voicing concerns, imagine it's probably hitting the customer in some way. So that's super that you're that in tune with the employee voice, and so I love that. And how do you guys see, the change element of this? Like just all the changes that you've been through. Like how do you manage your change there? Do you guys have a good quality change management program?
I don't know if we necessarily have a good or great program.
You feel you're good at it, I guess.
But I embrace change. If something's going to make our lives easier, better, and better for the first thing I want to look at is, does it help our employees? That is something I take to heart and I want to implement. If it's something that only helps HR or payroll and doesn't help, because we're one and the same, it doesn't help our employees, I'm not necessarily for that. I want to be all-encompassing, and I think I'm almost a little bit too empathetic. Like I think I give too much sometimes, and I don't think about how is that going to affect us.
Right.
In the payroll world.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, you have to, as a payroll manager, you got to put things through a lot of different lenses, and I think it's such a fun role in that way, because you get to be like it's never the same day. I mean, even though you're always running payroll and doing the same thing, it always feels like it's never the same day.
It's
you know what I mean?
never the same day.
Yeah. You're always tackling the next problem, and
yes.
I was saying earlier that we see a lot of this talk about artificial intelligence and all of these things replacing the payroll practitioner, and I don't think that's the case. I think you're going to see a much more of an augmentation and an elevation of the payroll role. And when you look at all of the types of skills that it takes to be successful in the future with AI, it's all soft skills that payroll leaders have in spades, right? Adaptability, creativity, emotional intelligence. I mean, that is where I think payroll is really going to get a chance to shine, because they're going to have this, all that monotony taken off of them to focus on real impactful stuff like figuring out wellness and helping with employee, taking employee feedback and doing something with that. And that has to feel good.
It's empowering.
Right? It does. It has to make you feel really good.
It does. It really does. It's definitely interesting how that all is encompassing.
Yeah. How much do you feel your leadership is invested in payroll as a value outlet? Do you feel that do they see payroll as a source of value in your organization? It sounds like probably just the way they treat HR, right?
Yes, I'm so lucky to have such a great team of HR and payroll, and even our entire company is really tight, and it's really cool because you come to these conferences and you hear people talk about how they don't have that really good cohesive, HR did this, but they didn't tell payroll. We don't have that, and I'm
awesome.
So thankful for that. So we are always bouncing ideas off one another on how we can make something work better. We really, not only do we listen to our employees, but our leaders listen to the leadership as well.
Yeah. It sounds like you have a very, very, very healthy culture.
I think we do. I think there's always room for improvement.
Oh, yeah.
But I think overall we are in a really good place as a company where we really push for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been awesome. So I like to ask one fun question while we're here.
Oh, boy.
So let me think about this. How many of these have you been to?
This is my first Congress.
Okay.
Yes.
Last year was my first.
Okay.
30 years in the industry. I came the last year the first time. Super impressed. I love it. So what are you most excited about this week? Is it a class? Is it the costume contest? Is it a party? What is it? What are you most excited about? What's got you most excited?
I'm a total geek. I signed up for 19 classes.
Oh my.
So
Is there time on the schedule to even accomplish
barely,
that? Okay.
Barely.
All right.
Barely. Actually, I think
19.
there might be 2 expos that are on that list that
Okay.
included in the 19, which is a lot of learning too.
Yeah.
I'm a learning junkie. I take any and every
You have
possible
to be in
class I
payroll.
can. Yes.
Have to be.
You almost have to be, I feel like you have to be an attorney or super smart to be in payroll because everything's changing every
know it
day.
all. Yeah.
You got to know it all. So I think the classes and the different types of classes we can take. I did take a class at 5:15 today with IRS and Social Security Administration.
Interesting.
So yes, that was a tough one to take at 5:15 on this afternoon.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of really good knowledge. So
Good deal.
I'm definitely a learner.
Good. Yeah. There is no shortage of learning, networking, innovation, parties, fun. I mean, this is, I call it the Super Bowl of payroll, but it really is a festival of payroll that celebrates payroll, I think.
Absolutely.
And I
the
love
networking
that.
of people is something I'm a talker.
Unmatched.
My coworkers, we've gone to other conferences with our software we're with, and they're all sitting at breakfast, not talking, and I'm everywhere. Because how else are you going to learn new things or see what other people's pain points are other than asking?
There's so much power in the payroll community, and they help each other, and they're there for you, and someone's been through what you're going through, reach out.
Such support here.
And get the help. It's there. It's offered. So, well, this has been awesome, Dawn. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And have a good time here in Denver.
Absolutely.
I know you live here, but
I know, but still, hey,
enjoy
I'm in
your
the city and
conference.
I get to relax here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap from Payroll Con. Thanks for tuning in. For more of The Source by DailyPay, head to dailypay.com or look for us wherever you get your podcasts.